What's going on, guys? This is Nate from the Shroud Academy welcoming you to another test hand video here on the channel. Earlier this week I did go ahead and profile my Sky Striker Fluffal deck for you guys, and so today I'm going to be doing 3 test hands just to show you what I can do with the deck. There's nobody here playing against me. This is just me going through test hands, seeing how I can do, kind of playing solitaire with myself, and we're going to see what kind of field I can go ahead and make for you guys. I did already go ahead and shuffle up my deck, but just to make sure that I'm not cheating for you guys, I'm going to cut it like my opponent just cut it for me. This deck always wants to go second, so we're going to be going second with this deck. We are going to draw our first 5, and then from there we're going to be seeing if we have any hand traps to stop our opponent. And then after that we are going to go ahead and draw our 6th card for going second, and go from there and see what we can do. In a couple days we are also going to be doing a live duel for you guys just to showcase it against a live opponent, and then from now on every week we're going to be doing that same exact thing with different decks. So pretty amazing things and pretty fun things going to be happening here on the channel. So let's go ahead and draw our first 5 cards. We have Impermanence, Fluffal Wings, Owl, Chain, and Hornet Drones. Alright, so here's our first 5 opening cards. Pretty good hand. So we do have this Impermanence, so we're going to go ahead and say that sometime during our opponent's turn we did Impermanence them, and we stopped them from doing some kind of board making thing. Doesn't matter what it is, we did just Impermanence them. That's all that we need to know for right now. Alright, so we draw our 5th card, we have an effect failure. So we do have that for next turn, just in case that, say, we can't OTK them this turn. This will work for next turn as well. Alright, so we're going to go ahead first off and start off with our Hornet Drones. Hornet Drones is going to go ahead and get us our token. So there's our token right there. Take the token, and we're going to go ahead and go into our Sky Striker Ace. From there we're going to add the Hornet Drones back to our hand with its effect. Activate the Hornet Drones again, getting ourselves a token again. From there we're going to go ahead and use the token and our Sky Striker Ace to go into our Alistair, the Invoker of Madness. From there we do have 4 cards in our hand. We don't have Polymerization just yet, but we do have Owl, so that's kind of a big thing that we can work on there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we'll No More Summon our Owl right there. Activate its effect to add our Polymerization to our hand. Go ahead and shuffle our deck just in case. Hopefully not lose anything in the process. Alright, so from there we have a Polymerization in our hand along with Chain. So we're going to go ahead and activate the Polymerization using our Chain and our Wings in hand. And we're going to go into our Tiger. Or actually, no, we're going to go into our Kraken. Sorry, I can't go into Tiger just yet. So we'll go into Kraken there and activate Chain's effect, Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, Invocation, or Invoker of Madness. We don't need to add the Invocation to hand right now, but it is a good thing to actually end up having later on, so we can kind of do a little chain block there as well. So we'll go ahead and we'll add the Invocation off the Invoker of Madness. And then Chain will net us the Patchwork. Alrighty. So, from there, depending on what they have on their field, we can go ahead and we can activate the Kraken effect on our field, sending a monster to grave. So depending on if they have something else on the field, we can do that. We can activate the Patchwork to add a Poly. That Poly is actually gone. Apologize for that. So there's a Poly, and then we're going to add a Sabers. There's our Sabers. Alright. So depending on what they have on their field right now, we can do a couple different things. So Invocation actually says that if you're going to be using it, it has to be cards from your hand as fusion material. But if you're using it for an invoked monster, it can actually be cards from your side of the field and your graveyard as well. So if we want to, we can activate this to do things for our like Mecha Bit play, that kind of stuff. Right now, because we can't really do anything with it in our side of the field as of right now. We do want to get this in the grave though, that way we can banish it. We cannot shuffle it back, unfortunately, because it's not considered Alistair the Invoker, like in the banish area, just on the field and grave. So that kind of sucks for us. But we do have a light in field, or in hand right now, or in the graveyard, I should say, as well as in hand, I should say, with the effect failure. But so from here, we already used the effect of Kraken. So I'm gonna go ahead and use Poly again with Edgem Sabers and Kraken. And we'll go into our Sabertooth. Sabertooth will activate, targeting our Kraken, and we'll go right there. So we do have a couple things we've got going on for us. So from here, we can either go and banish right away a light and our Alistair if we needed to. We are going for a game though, so say we already sent something from the field, we stopped them with the impermanence and everything like that. So what we'll do is we'll actually activate we'll actually take the Owl and the Alistair, and we're gonna go into Nightmare Unicorn. Nightmare Unicorn's effect will activate, and we'll just discard the effect veiler. And then we can activate the invocation, banishing the effect veiler we just used, as well as Alistair the Invoker of Madness, to go into our invoked Macabre. So that is something that we can do right there. Might not be the best play in the world, but we did just OTK our opponent as long as they didn't have any kind of stops for us. We did have the effect veiler for them for next turn if we really wanted to. We didn't have to extend into the invoked Macabre if we didn't want to. And we did impermanence them, and we did send something from grave with Kraken. So hopefully we stopped their field enough to be able to OTK them. So that was our test hand 1. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle up, and we'll see what we can do for the next hand. Alrighty, so we are ready for our second test hand. I did already shuffle off screen just to kind of cut out some of the time of the video. So we'll have our opponent cut our deck, and we're going to be going ahead and taking our first 5 and seeing what we can do to try and stop our opponent, and then go from there. Alright, so we have our first 5 here. We do have a effect veiler and an impermanence. So we're going to go ahead and say that we use both of these during our opponent's turn. Stop their play dead in his tracks. We're not sure what they have on their field as of right now, but it's not as good as what it could have been. Now we do have an Owl, Sabers, and a Patchwork in our hand for our turn. We'll go ahead and draw our first our draw for turn, and we do have a pretty good hand here. So what we're going to do first is we're actually going to summon the Owl. Depending on what they have in their hand, we did stop them, but if they do happen to have a hand trap like Ash or anything, this is when they would activate it. If they don't, then we can go ahead and add our Poly. We'll also activate our Patchwork there, and we're going to add ourselves a Poly and a Chain because we already have our Sabers. So if they stopped the Owl, we did have the Patchwork, wasn't that big of a deal. If they didn't stop the Owl and they stopped the Patchwork, we're also kind of okay because we still already do have cards in our hand to do things. So from there, we can go ahead and look at our hand. We can see what we got. We have 2 polymerizations, an invocation, a Sabers, as well as Chain with Owl on the field. We can go 2 different routes here, depending on what's on their field. We can either go the Tiger play, or we can go the Kraken play. Last round we did actually do the Kraken play, so I'm going to go ahead and do Sabers this time with our Owl, and we're going to go into Tiger, just to do something different. So we'll go into the Tiger there. Tiger's effect will target whatever they have on their field, pop it. We did already use 2 of our hand traps to stop them, so hopefully they didn't have too much in on their field that we needed to pop. From there we can activate the polymerization with Chain and Tiger to bring out our Sabertooth. Effect will target the Tiger to special, and then Chain will also activate, allowing us to add a Frightful card. We already do have polymerization in our hand, and we already have we've already used Patchwork, so we can either go for our Frightful Fusion, or we can go for our Frightful Factory, depending on what we want to do. We already have a polymerization in our hand though, so I'm not too worried about doing anything crazy. So we're going to go ahead and add the Fusion. So we already popped everything. We have Tiger as well as Sabertooth on the field, giving off a total of 1,000 attack points to both of them. So we have a 2,900 beater and then a 3,400 beater, or what? Yeah, 2,900 and 34. So that is 34, 35, 6, 5, 63, 6,300. So we do need a little bit more to do here for OTKing purposes. So we're going to activate the Sabertooth effect, putting the invocation back on top of the deck, activating polymerization again, and going into our second Sabertooth. Effect will go ahead and summon the other Sabertooth we just used. So then we have Tiger as well as 2 Sabertooth here on the field right now. Depending on what our opponent has, if they have anything left, we can go ahead and go for a Fight for Fusion here if we needed to, by linking off and then going for something. If we don't need to, then we wouldn't really have to worry about it. So we have, what, he's giving off 4, he's giving off 4, he's giving off 9 now. So we've got 9 and 8, so we have 1,700 attack going out to everybody. So we're going to have 36 and then, what, 41, 41. So that's already game if we need to, if they don't have anything on their field, we already have game. If they do have anything on their field that we feel threatened by, we can go ahead and, like, say they have something on their field that we can't get by. So we can link 2 off to go into Land Ferenkus. And then we can Fight for Fusion. And we can either banish our Sabertooth and like an owl for another tiger to pop things. Or we can banish like a owl and I don't know, anything really. Owl and say the tiger to go into a third Sabertooth to bring out this Sabertooth. So now they're giving off 4, 8, 12 if we need it, but we're already giving off more in the first place, so we shouldn't need to do that play. Something else we can do is, because we do have the chain engrave as well, we can actually activate the chain, or do the chain and an owl and just go into Kraken. So say we need to do that route, we can. It's all personal preference of what you need to do and like how you need to get around things depending on what they have on their field. Either way, this should be an FTK or OTK. So yeah, let's go ahead and shuffle back up and we'll do one final test hand to see what we can do. Alrighty, so we are ready for our final test hand of the day. I did already go ahead and shuffle. Let's go ahead and get our cut from our opponent real quick, just to make sure that everything is good to go. And we'll take our first 5, so we have Effect Failure, Chain, Wings, Engage, and Dog. Alright, so during their turn, they did something that we needed to negate, so we negated it with Effect Failure. We hit that firewall, so it couldn't activate its effect. We stopped them in their tracks. Alright, so from there, we're going to draw our 5th card. An Ash, awesome, so we can use that next turn if we can't OTK them this turn. Great. So, we're going to go ahead and activate our Engage. Engage will add our Drone. Drone will go ahead and be activated, get us our token. Token will be used to get our Sky Striker Ace. Ace will grab our drone again for a second token. From there, we're going to go ahead and use those 2 into our Alistair, the Invoker of Madness. After that, we can go ahead and normal summon our dog. Dog will activate, adding our bear. Bear will activate, setting our toy vendor. Alright, so from here we have 2 different routes we can go for, depending on how we want to proceed. Now, normally, if we didn't want to risk the draw, we can go ahead and activate the toy vendor, send the wings, or activate the toy vendor, send the wings, and go from there. But we can also do a different play here that can help us plus even more if you don't want to risk the whatever. You can just keep digging more, I guess I should say. So, we'll activate the toy vendor here. We'll let our opponent cut our deck because we are going to be drawing off a toy vendor. And we're going to discard our chain. Chain Chain will be discarded. Toy Vendor will be sending our Foolish Burial Goods to the grave. Chain will be activated though. And we're gonna add our Patchwork. Patchwork will be activated, adding a Poly and adding a Sabers. So from there, we're going to be activating our Polymerization, sending our Wings and our Sabers to grave to summon out our Tiger. Tiger effect will activate on summon, targeting 2 cards on their field, depending on what they are. We can blow up 2 other things that weren't stopped by the effect failure, so we can hit that fire while we stopped, and or we can hit anything else. Depending on what we have in our hand, like what's on the field right now, we can pop Toy Vendor if we needed to, but we are not going to do that. We are going to go ahead and activate the Wings by banishing it and Bear, and we're going to draw a card. Send the Toy Vendor to grave to draw a card. And then we're also going to be adding off that, but I'm also going to add off the Invoker. So I missed that at first. You would be adding off of the summon of Tiger. So we'll add the Invocation off that. And then Toy Vendor we will also add off of. So depending on what we want to do here, so we're just going to go for the OTK, honestly. We do have Fusion, Factory in hand and Invocation. Invocation we can't use just yet. I don't think I have any other. Oh, I do have a Light in the Grave. Sweet. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and add Penguin. Alright, so from there we're going to be activating our Factory. Factory will banish our Polymerization from grave to fuse our Tiger and our Penguin into Sabertooth. Sabertooth will activate Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2 will be Penguin. Targeting Tiger, so bring out Tiger over here, and then Penguin will allow us to draw 2, discard 1. So draw 2, and then discard 1 here. We do have our Infinite Permanence and our Ash Blossom, so these are going to be really, really good for us later on. Called by the Grave we don't need as of right now, I don't think. We'll see. So we'll go ahead and we'll discard that. It all depends on what they have on their field, honestly. From there we'll go ahead and use these 2 for a Link 3 into Unicorn. Discarding our Chain. And then we'll activate our Invocation. Banishing our Alistair, the Invoker of Madness, as well as the Effect Failure that we already used last turn for our Macabre. So we have Unicorn, Macabre, Tiger, and Sabertooth. Sabertooth's giving off 400, and then Tiger's giving off 600, so that's 1,000. So we have a 29, 34, 25, and 22, and that is obviously going to be game. So depending on what they have on their field still, if we can't OTK them this turn, we do have a Macabre. They can either negate a trap, because we can discard impermanence, negate a monster because we can discard our Ash, or we can Ash them and stop them from sending to grave, adding to hand, or we can negate an effect. So there are lots of things that we can do here with this field, and I think it's a crazy good hand, and that is definitely one we're going to go ahead and end off with. So if you did enjoy this test hand video, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because all your support is greatly appreciated. Stay tuned for Friday, this upcoming Friday, for a live duel showcasing this deck and what it can do. And then, just stay tuned for every single week after this, because we're going to be doing live duels and deck profiles and everything else. So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, this is Nate from the Scrub Academy, signing out for now. Peace out.